you guys have done a really great job in with the fast travel system from one place to the next. So I feel like I can explore if I want to explore and cruise around, but if I have to go somewhere quickly or if I have to do something, I can always like the fast travel system works really great, and I'm glad that it's like available whenever you need it. You don't have to travel somewhere to use the fast travel system. You can just use it from your map. It's
Yeah, I
really
mean,
great.
it was one of the things that because we understand like different kinds of players want to do different things. Some
Mhm.
people really want to explore and like they won't use fast. I've seen people who play the game and they'll just refuse outright to use fast travel. Like they have some kind of I don't know, like religious
They're a,
adherence to
they're a
walk
purist.
every. Yeah, they really are. But then there are people who use fast travel to get absolutely everywhere. And
Yeah.
it's just about giving people choice and options. You know, we don't want to force people into having to travel if they don't want to. And if you don't want to use fast travel and you think that it ruins the immersion, then it's completely up to you. You get to make that decision.
And in terms of kind of like customizing your gameplay, does that follow through with like the skills that you can unlock throughout the game too?
Yeah, so we have three different skill trees, and they're kind of based around the different play styles. So the three play styles that we know appear a lot in the Far Cry experience are being very stealthy, being very, very action based, just going in and setting fires and explosions. And then the other one is being long range, so liking to snipe, liking to scout an area and attack from distance, pick enemies off one by one. So the three different skill trees reinforce those three different play styles. So you can really, if you have a preference, you can really specialize in one skill tree, or if you just like to experiment in a bunch of different play styles, you can kind of spread the skill trees across the different trees, but not go too deep in any one tree.
Without again, without giving spoilers away, can you kind of explain maybe some of the special characters that we'll meet in the game? Maybe even touch on like the friends that the main character Jason has to save, or maybe Voss, like what is his deal? Why
Okay,
is he
well,
so crazy?
right now, Max is about to meet a character called Willis, so I'll talk about that. Right now, Jason, I don't know, we're a good few hours into the game. Jason's at this point he's rescued some of his friends, but he's now on the track for hunting for another friend so he can rescue. And basically the story brings you into the world of these insane characters. So the character's world that you've stepped into now is Willis, who's he's a CIA agent, but you can see from the kind of the equipment that he has that he's been on the island for a long, long time. And the people who've been on the island for a little bit too long, they start to go a little bit crazy. Like this guy has been in the jungle, deep in the jungle for way too long. And he's started to lose his mind a little bit. So most of the characters in the game are pretty crazy, but we wanted to make everyone a different shade of crazy. We didn't want everyone to be kind of loud and bombastic like Vas. We wanted to have like subtle shades of insanity, so you didn't always have the same kind of experience. Because you never really, like you said before, the people you meet on the island, you never really know if you can trust them. Sometimes we present people as super friendly and nice, and they might betray you. Other times we present people who are a little bit shady and standoffish, but they're actually a good guy. It's just that you have to kind of invest some time in them. And I guess it's like real people. You don't really know, like you have different personalities and different experiences with anyone you meet in life. So why should it be different in the game?
That's true. I am. I'm not too far into the game, but I've already met one kind of special character who I thought was really nice at first, and then like the more I talk to this person, the more I'm like, you're a little weird. You keep saying like odd things, and I don't know if I
Yeah.
should just trust
Yeah.
you.
But the thing is, one thing we didn't want to do in the story is ever nothing's black and white. Like we really leave it up to the players, the individual players, to decide for themselves. Like we'll never tell you that someone is good or bad. They'll just live their lives. They'll make the decisions that they make, and it's really up to you if you think that that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like I guess there are probably some people out there that will root for Vas. They're probably like, because he's kind of he's obviously a bad guy, but
But
he's
he's
kind
still
of charismatic.
likable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Yes, like that's what's so powerful about him. Like he has these kind of like you can be like captivated just by his eyes because he's kind of super charismatic. But then he'll flip out and you'll be like, whoa, this guy's a little bit wrong. But at the same time, I'm sure that he has lots of fans. It's funny because like we based the likeness of the actual actor Michael Mando who plays Vass in the game. And so like when you meet Michael in real life, it's like there's this real moment where you're like, whoa, you look exactly like Vass. I'm in real life standing next to him, and like Michael's a super nice guy. Like he isn't like he doesn't have the mohawk and he doesn't have a gun, but like there's still like you're standing next to the guy that looks exactly like this lunatic. So it's kind of it's interesting to meet a nice guy that looks exactly like us. We don't do things in a kind of a traditional video game way in terms of how we actually film those scenes. Like we do full body motion capture and voice at the same time with multiple actors actually in the same scene together. So you'll have like, instead of having like two people record separately on different days a voice track, and then an animator goes in and kind of animates the skeletons to make them move. Like we actually capture the scene with two actors in the same room together, so they really work with each other. So it's the reason that it comes across as much more filmic and realistic is because it's actually like filmed like a movie, and it's directed like a movie in terms of the actual capture. And then we translate that into the 3D space of the game. And because it's always seen from first person, right? We never cut away to a third person camera. You always see it through Jason's eyes, which is why it gets very up close and very personal. Which is why I think a lot of Vass's performances they have that extra kind of that layer of kind of tension, because it's really like he's speaking directly to you. It's like he's staring into your soul when he's telling you about how he's tried to kill you.
Can you explain anything or tell us anything about Jason's friends? Who else is he on the island with that he's trying to save?
So yeah, Jason. The story starts out with you. And I guess the backstory is that Jason is he's a 20-something from California, and he's basically taking a vacation and traveling because he doesn't want to get a real job and he doesn't want to be part of the real world. Like he's trying to avoid a 9-to-5. So he's somewhere between college and a real life, and he's just kind of, I guess, a slacker is what I would call him. He's scared of commitment, and he just wants to have fun, and he just wants to party, which is kind of the opposite of what he turns into in the end, or when he gets to the island at least. But he's with his two brothers and his girlfriend, his brother's girlfriend. One of his other friends called Ollie, and one of his brother's friends called Keith, and they're this big group who are traveling together, and they all get kidnapped by Vass and his pirates at the start of the game. And the story unfolds as Jason moves through the island, and he has to find out where the different friends are being held and who they're being held by, and then he has to try and track down the information he needs to find out where they are and figure out how he can get them back. And to meet someone like Willis, who is the CIA agent. So his missions are kind of more, have like almost like an espionage kind of feel to them. And then and he actually sends you on this mission, which it isn't about espionage, but it's about a cool gadget. So he gives you the flamethrower, and he tells you to go to one of the pirate drug farms to burn it down, so their boss will actually come over to the island because he needs you to take some pictures and surveillance of this guy. You have to bring him out of hiding. So in this mission called Picking the Hornet's Nest, Willis gives you a flamethrower and he sends you to a weed farm, and you have to burn it down. And you can see if Jason actually, when he sets fire to it and he gets a little bit too close, he'll actually get a bit high, and you can see like the vision starts to get blurred, and the audio starts to have like a weird effect on it, which is actually it's pretty cool. It's pretty funny.
What, if any, is the downside from dying? Like, do you lose cash, experience, do you lose anything before dying, or do you just have the bummer of resetting and respawning somewhere?
Yeah, I mean that's the big negative is that you lose where you are and what you were doing, and you have to travel back to where you were. But that's only if you're in the open world. If you're like, we have a pretty robust checkpoint system inside missions. That was something that Far Cry 2 didn't have, and it was something that we wanted to change. So if you if you're in a mission and you've completed some objectives and then you die, you don't have to go right back to the start of the mission. You'll actually go midway through the mission to the objective that you were trying to do when you died. And when you die in the open world, you respawn at the nearest outpost that you've captured. So the more outposts that you actually take over, the less punishing death becomes. So it's kind of an incentive, really, another incentive. As well as actually it unlocks new fast travel points as well.